Welcome to Lasea class. I am your teacher, Jan Lasea. A blessed day to everyone. Today, let us learn long distance remote control using 4G. Imagine if you can turn on or turn off the lights in your poultry farm or your refrigerator in your house from your working place 30 kilometers away to your home using your smartphone without internet connection. The Waveshare ESP32S3A7670E 4G module is a highly integrated multi-functional Internet of Things development board that combines expressive powerful ESP32S3 microcontroller with a SIMCOM A7670E cellular modem. It allows developers to build remote Internet of Things projects that require Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, global navigation satellite system, and cellular connectivity such as 4G or even 2G without needing external modems. These are the parts of the Waveshare ESP32S3A7670E 4G module. This is the GPS antenna. This is the speaker. This is the camera. This is for the TFT memory card slot. This is the USB Type-C port. This is the SIMCOM A7670E cellular modem for 4G, LTE, and GPS. At the back of the module is a battery holder where you can insert an 18650 lithium-ion 3.7 volts battery, but the battery is not included in the package. The Waveshare ESP32S3A7670E 4G module has the following features. It has ESP32S3 microcontroller. It has a 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi, Bluetooth version 5, a camera, a 4G LTE network, a global navigation satellite system or GNSS or GPS receiver, cloud platform communication, telephone call and SMS, multifunctional Type-C port, a TFT memory card slot, a USB or solar power charging, and it has rich peripheral interfaces. These are some applications of implementing the Waveshare ESP32S3A7670E 4G module. Number 1. Outdoor monitoring and security. Autonomous camera traps or environmental sensors that transmit data and alerts via 4G LTE network. Number 2. Asset tracking. The GPS or GNSS trackers mounted on vehicles or equipment that report real-time locations to a cloud server. Number 3. Portable Wi-Fi or hotspots, utilizing its 4G module to route and share a cellular connection. According to the Waveshare company website, this is another application of the mentioned module. Smart Garden Solutions. The ESP32S3A7670E 4G module can report various sensor data of the garden through message queuing, telemetry transport, or MQTT to remotely control device that it will turn on or turn off an irrigation, fertilization, and so on. Server performance cloud monitoring. The ESP32S3A7670E 4G module can report various performance parameters of the Raspberry Pi server through message queuing, telemetry transport, or MQTT, and monitor the operation status in real time through the cloud platform. The cloud platform will be provided by the Waveshare company. Internet of Things GPS mobile positioning. The ESP32S3A7670E 4G module can regularly report the data of the GPS or Global Positioning System positioning module through MQTT to realize mobile detection or animal or device positioning and tracking, and so on. According to the Waveshare company website, these are practical applications, another practical applications of implementing the mentioned module. Since it has a camera, you can apply image recognition, such as face and object recognition, portable Wi-Fi, intelligent industry, like intelligent warehouse, workshop, digital twins to visualize data analysis, smart agriculture, and Internet of Things applications. The materials we need to build a simple project are the following. Number 1, we need to purchase this Waveshare ESP32S3A7670E 4G module. Upon purchasing this product, you will receive these following components that you need to assemble, such as the ESP32S3 SIM A7670E 4G LTE module. We have a transparent acrylic case. We have a screw pack. We have this GNSS or GPS ceramic antenna for the GPS. We have the OB2640 camera. We have a 8 ohms 2 watts 2030 speaker. We have a USB Type A to Type C cable. We have a FPC antenna for the 4G LTE signal. We have a screwdriver. We have this 2 pins screw terminal. We have 4 pieces double-sided tape. We have this 40 pins yellow straight pin header. And then you need to assemble these components, something like this. Next, we need to have a 4G or 5G LTE SIM card. In our country, the Philippines, the 4G LTE SIM card is no longer available anymore, but you can buy instead the 5G LTE SIM card. And you need to register this 5G LTE SIM card before you use. The SIMCOM A7670E module does not support 5G network connectivity because it was designed for a 4G LTE. However, the 5G SIM card in 4G module will connect to the network using 4G LTE or even 2G. Even if the SIM card is a 5G enabled card, it cannot utilize 5G bands. Therefore, you can use a 5G SIM card with an A7670E module, but it will only operate at 4G speeds. I bought a Globe 5G LTE SIM card and tested it, and it works. And it can connect in a 4G LTE in our place. Next, we need to have an OLED I squared 128 by 64 display to display the status and signal strength of the 4G LTE cellular modem. Next, we need to have a tiny breadboard to attach the OLED display. Next, we need to have a 5-volt relay module to switch on and switch off the USB 5-volt LED bulb. Next, we need to have a 5-volt USB LED bulb. We need to have a 5-volt, 1 ampere or 2 amperes plug with male barrel jack. And then the purpose of this is to power the source of power for the 5-volt USB LED bulb. Next, we need to have a Type A female USB port connector. Next, we need to have a DC female barrel jack, some jumper wires, and USB Type-C cable. Next, we need to have a Arduino CC++ IDE to be installed in our laptop or desktop PC. The latest version that I installed in my laptop and desktop PC is the version 2.3.10. Finally, we need to have a computer, whether it is a laptop or desktop PC with a Windows operating system. The following figure shows the pin layout of the Waveshare ESP32S3 A7670E 4G module. The built-in TF memory card slot use the following GPIO pins. Also, the SIMCOM A7670E cellular modem use the following GPIO pins. As well as the camera, it used the following GPIO pins. So therefore, the free and available GPIO pins that we can use to connect sensors, relay, and actuators are GPIO 0, GPIO 1, GPIO 2, GPIO 3, GPIO 20. You cannot use the camera when you use the synchronous clock GPIO number 9 and synchronous data GPIO number 8. This is the wiring diagram for the simple project. Let us focus our attention at the tiny breadboard. The OLED I squared C 128 by 64 display, the BCC pin will be connected to the 3.3 volt of the Waveshare ESP32S3 A7670E 4G. The ground pin of the OLED display will be connected to the ground. The synchronous clock pin of the OLED display will be connected to the GPIO number 9. The synchronous data pin of the OLED display will be connected to the GPIO number 8. Moving on to the 5-volt relay. The BCC pin or the positive terminal of the 5-volt relay will be connected to the 5-volt of the Waveshare ESP32S3 A7670E 4G module. The ground pin terminal of the 5-volt relay will be connected to the ground. The input pin or data pin of the 5-volt relay will be connected to the GPIO number 1. Next, we move on to the 5-volt LED bulb. The positive pin of the 5-volt LED bulb will be connected to the normally open terminal of the 5-volt relay. The negative pin or the ground pin of the 5-volt LED bulb will be connected to the negative or ground terminal of the DC female barrel jack. The positive terminal of the DC female barrel jack is connected to the COM or common terminal of the 5-volt relay. The 5-volt 1 ampere or even 2 amperes plug adapter with male barrel jack will be connected to the DC female barrel jack to supply power to the 5-volt LED bulb. The 5-volt 1 ampere plug adapter will be connected to a 220 volts AC in our electrical outlet. We need to install some libraries needed for our simple project. Using the Arduino IDE, we go to the boards manager and install the ESP32 board by ExpressIF Systems. Before you upload your codes to the ESP32S3, first you must select the board name ESP32 Dev Module. Next, we go to the library manager and install the Adafruit SSD 1306 by Adafruit. We need also to install the Windows driver provided by the Waveshare company so that we can communicate and upload codes from the Waveshare ESP32S3 A7670E 4G module to our laptop or desktop personal computer. Step number 1, using the Type-C USB cable, connect to the USB Type-C port of the Waveshare ESP32S3 A7670E 4G module. Step number 2, connect the other end of the Type-C USB cable to your PC. Step number 3, download the Windows driver from the provided URL address. Step number 4, uncompress the zip that was downloaded from that provided URL address. The next step, step number 5, you right-click the Windows button and then click the Device Manager. Step number 6, you click the other devices to expand. Step number 7, right-click the Mobile AT interface and then select Update Driver. Step number 8, click the Browse My Computer for drivers. Step number 9, browse the location of the uncompressed or unzipped file in that file or folder and then click the Next button to install the Windows driver. Step number 10, after successful installation in the Device Manager, it must show the following information such as SIMTech HS-USB AT port 9011. In the Arduino IDE, when you choose the right COM port among the 4 COM ports that will show, you select the COM port that is labeled USB-enhance-serial CH343, and whatever the COM port number that appears beside the name, that is the port number that you select, so that you can upload successfully the codes to the Waveshare ESP32S3 A7670E 4G module. Let us learn the Arduino C++ codes to program the ESP32S3 microcontroller to receive commands from smartphone that will turn on or turn off a LED bulb via 4G LTE cellular communication network. First, we need to include the following header files, such as the adafruit_neopixel.h, adafruit_gfx.h, adafruit_ssd1306.h, wire.h, and then the arduino.h. I instantiated an object named strip using the class name adafruit_neopixel, and then the purpose of this is so that we can be able to turn on and turn off this built-in RGB LED on the module. I define some alias names for the screen width and height of the OLED display. For the I2C synchronous data pin, which is 8, and then I2C synchronous clock GPIO number 9 for our OLED display. And then I instantiated an object named display using the built-in class adafruit_ssd1306 for this OLED display. Next, I declared some global constant memory variable, such as integer RX pin initialized to 17, integer constant TX pin initialized to 18. When you look at the pin layout for the 4G cellular module, the RX receiver pin is GPIO number 18. The transmit pin is GPIO 17. These are the assigned designated GPIO pin for this A7670E SIMCOM 4G cellular module. And then you observe that the value of the RX pin initialized in that constant memory variable was not GPIO number 18. Likewise, with the TX pin initialized to 18 was not GPIO number 17. The logic is that the RX, which stands for receiver, will receive the data from the TX transmitter. That's why the transmitter GPIO number 17 is what we assign to that RX pin. Also, with the TX transmitter, it will transmit data to the RX pin. So that's why the TX pin will receive the GPIO number 18, because the transmitter will transmit data to that GPIO number 18. If the values of the RX pin and TX pin are not correct, then the 4G cellular module will not function. I declared more defined directives, alias names for the relay, the maximum phone number length, the maximum SMS length of characters 160, receive buffer size. I declared some global variables such as an array of characters, SMS RX message that will receive the SMS message from the smartphone, an array of characters named SMS sender that will store here the sender's phone number, and some other um, helper global variables that I declared down below. The function setup is automatically invoked and run once at the start of program execution of the ESP32S3 microcontroller. Inside the body of the function setup, I called the command pin mode and assigned the relay to be a output mode. Next, I called the built-in command digital write, and then I pass a argument high that it will turn off the LED bulb. It will switch the relay to turn off the LED bulb. Different 5-volt relay have different logic on how to switch. Sometimes the other brand of 5-volt relay, to turn it off, you need to pass a low. But the 5-volt relay that I use today is not a low to indicate a off, but instead it is high. Next, we need to call the method begin using the object wire to establish that the synchronous data pin will assign a GPIO number 8, and then synchronous clock pin will be assigned the GPIO number 9. Next to that, we call the method begin of the object serial, and then assign a baud rate of 115,200 bits per seconds of amount of data that it will send and receive from our PC to the Waveshare ESP32S3 A7670E 4G module. And then we delay for 1 second. Next, we call the method begin of the object display to initialize and activate our OLED display. The following codes are the concatenational codes inside the body of the function setup. The following code will display a message on the OLED display. The message ESP32S3 SIM7670X4G. And it will also assign a brightness level for our built-in RGB LED. And then I call the method begin of the object serial1. This serial1 is a built-in object to program the SIMCOM A7670E 4G cellular modem. And then we pass the GPS baud rate, that the value here is 115,200 bits, 200 bits per second for the GPS. And then we pass the RX pin and then the TX pin. And then it will start to activate this SIMCOM A7670E 4G cellular modem. Next, we call the function send message to send an AT command to test if we communicate to the SIMCOM A7670E cellular modem. The while loop keeps on repeating if the function returns false, and it will stop it when the function will return true. When that happens, that means that we can communicate successfully to the SIMCOM A7670E cellular modem. Next to that, we pass a command, a AT command to the cellular modem, and then that AT command is AT plus C reset. The AT plus C reset is an AT command primarily used in cellular Internet of Things, and GSM modules to reset the device. Sending this command causes the modem to fully restart. After the reboot, the module will clear its temporary states, reinitialize its hardware, and automatically attempt to re-register on the cellular network. Next to that, we call the method flash of the object serial 1, and then we send another AT command, which is the AT command ATE0. This ATE0 stands for echo off. It is used to tell the modem or the GSM module or the Wi-Fi chip to stop repeating or echoing the commands you type back to your screen. After that, we read the result sent to us by the 4G cellular modem using the method read string of the object serial 1, and then we have a decision statement that if the value of Rx received from that method index of, which is a string command to determine if there is a message okay, Rx will not be equal to -1. And if that is true, therefore, it will now indicate that our modem is ready. And then the following codes here will display the message modem ready in our OLED display. The following contornational codes under the body of the method setup is we call another AT command, which is the AT plus caps question mark. The AT plus caps question mark stands for command for operator selection. It is used to manage and configure which mobile network your device connects to, force manual network selection, or query available network carriers. The output, in my case, the output of this code will display a message that the network is connected to this connection, which is a number 51502. 51502. And then the following code will display that network code or a network name or carrier to the OLED display. Next, the following code is still a long, lengthy line of codes inside the method setup. We call another AT command, which is AT plus CPIN question mark. The AT plus CPIN question mark is used to check the security status of the SIM card in a cellular module or modem. It asks the device if it needs a personal identification number or PIN or password before it can connect to the cellular network. So we are going to call the method read string to determine the result upon issuing that AT command, and then the result will be stored to that variable MSG. And then we determine if there is a part of the message plus CPIN colon space ready, and then the value return of that method index of Rx. If the value is not equal to -1, therefore, it means that the SIM card is ready. And then the following code will display that message on the OLED display. Also, it will also display the message SIM card ready to the serial monitor panel of the Arduino IDE. Next, the following lengthy contornational code inside the body of the method setup, we call another AT command, which is the AT plus creg question mark. The AT plus creg question mark is a AT command used to query or configure a cellular modem's network registration status for circuit switch networks, and then the result of that can be one among the three. It can be a registered home network, or registered roaming network, or not registered. In my case, when I run it out, the output of this code is registered home network. And then the following code will display the message home network onto the OLED display. That means that we are successful in using the 5G Globe SIM card that I inserted in the Waveshare ESP32S3 A7670E 4G module. The following lengthy contornational code inside the body of the function setup will call another AT command, which is AT plus CMG F is equal to 1. This AT command sets your GSM modem or cellular module to SMS text mode. We try to set up our cellular modem, the 4G cellular modem, to be into a SMS text mode. Not a call mode, but SMS. After that, we call another AT command, which is AT plus CNMI is equal to 2,2,0,0,0. This command is used to configure how your GSM or LTE module handles incoming SMS messages. Specifically, it tells the modem to automatically forward new SMS messages directly to your microcontroller or computer screen the moment they arrive. Next, we issue another AT command, which is AT plus CSQ. This command means signal quality. It is used to query the cellular modem for its current network connection status. And then after that, we call the method readString to get the feedback returned by issuing that command AT plus CSQ, and it will be stored to the variable MSG. And then if that index of contains a string plus CSQ colon and it is not equal to -1, therefore we can now determine how strong the signal of the SIM card to the telecom provider, because it matters. If it is a weak signal, we cannot send a or even receive a SMS message. So there are two types of signal. We can have a weak signal or a strong signal. A weak signal falls within the range from 0 to 15, while a strong signal falls within the range from 16 to 31. In my case, I already tested it since we have a globe tower near in our vicinity. The signal strength of the globe cellular network to my smartphone, I mean to that SIM card, is a strong signal, and it will display that message onto the OLED display that there was a strong signal. And if that is now the case, you can now send a SMS. And then the Waveshare ESP32S3 A7670E 4G module can receive it without any hassle. When the function setup is finished, executed by the ESP32S3 microcontroller, next, the function loop is repeatedly invoked and run repeatedly by the ESP-S3 microcontroller. If there is a message received by the ESP32S3 microcontroller by calling the function or the method available of the object serial 1, this serial 1 is pointing to the 4G cellular modem. Then it will extract the message on or off written in all capital letters. But first, it will get the sender's smartphone number. So, the method or function read string of the object serial 1 will return the message received from the smartphone, and it will be stored to that array of characters, MSG. And then, if this condition of the first if statement is not equal to 0, then it will get the sender's smartphone number by extracting it from that variable MSG, and it will store it to the variable SMS sender. The following codes are continuational codes that get the sender's smartphone number, and the variable array of characters SMS sender will store here the phone number of the sender. And then the reason why that we need to do that, because our WaveShare ESP32S3 A7670E 4G module will send later on a feedback to the smartphone. That's why we need to get the smartphone number of the sender. The following continuational codes will display the sender's smartphone number in the OLED display, and as well as at the serial monitor panel of the Arduino IDE with the following codes shown here. Next, the following continuational codes will extract the received message either on or off, written in all capital letters, and will display in the OLED display, and as well as at the serial monitor panel of the Arduino IDE. Next, the following continuational codes will take action when the received message is on. It will switch the relay to turn on the LED bulb. Also, it will send a feedback message to the sender's smartphone number. The message, the bulb is turned on. It will light on a yellow color light in the built-in RGB LED of the WaveShare ESP32S3 A7670E 4G module. It will display the message "Turn on" the OLED display, and as well as at the serial monitor panel of the Arduino IDE. Next, the following continuational codes will take action when the received message is off. It will switch the relay to turn off the LED bulb. Also, it will send a feedback message to the sender's smartphone number. The message "Bulb is turned off." It will light up a black color in the built-in RGB LED of the WaveShare ESP32S3 A7670E 4G module. It will display the message "Turn off" on the OLED display, and as well as at the serial monitor panel of the Arduino IDE.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are the parts of the Waveshare ESP32S3 4G LTE module. First, we have the ESP32S3 SIM A7670E 4G LTE. Next, we have the transparent acrylic case. Next, we have the screw pop. Next, we have the GNSS ceramic antenna for the GPS. Next, we have the 8 ohm 2 watts 2030 speaker. Next, we have the OV2640 camera. Next, we have the FPC antenna for the 4G LTE signal. Next, we have the screwdriver. Next, we have the 2P screw terminal. Next, we have 40 pins, yellow straight pin header. Next, we have the 2 pieces double side tape. Next, we have the USB Type A to Type C cable. The ESP32S3 SIM A7670E 4G LTE. You can place here a nano SIM card in this part. Also, you can connect the TFC card, memory card here, as well as the camera. You can connect a antenna for the 4G LTE, and then an antenna for the GPS, and then you can place a 18650 lithium ion battery here to power it. Also, you connect the 8 ohms 2 watts speaker here. Ladies and gentlemen, let us test this long-distance remote control using 4G. First, I need to show you the parts. First, we have the Waveshare ESP32S3 A7670E 4G. Next, we have the OLED display attached to the tiny breadboard. We have a 5-volt relay. In the Waveshare ESP32S3 A7670E 4G, I attached this antenna. Without this antenna, it cannot pick up communication through the Globe 4G telecom network, this antenna. We have this 5-volt LED bulb. We have this DC female jack. We have this 5-volt 1 ampere adapter connected to the DC female jack. And then finally, we have a smartphone to test if we can be able to turn on or turn off the LED bulb, and we send a command to the Waveshare ESP32S3 A7670E 4G. a command of on or off. Let us turn on the LED bulb using our smartphone connected to a 4G Globe Telecom network without internet connection. Right now, I'm going to create a SMS text message to the SIM card cell phone number attached here. So I'm going to type a command which is the word on, written in all capital letters. So I type the word on and then send it to the 4G wave share. As you could see, the 5-volt LED bulb is turned on, and then the WaveShare ESP32 S3A7670E 4G send a feedback message to my cell phone that it was turned on, and if I'm going to read the message, the bulb is turned on. Let us turn it off. I'm going to type the command or the word off in all capital letters. So I type that word off and then send it. The LED bulb is turned off, and the ESP32 send a feedback message to my cell phone. The message is the bulb is turned off. Let us turn on once again. I type the command, the word on, in all capital letters, and then send it. And the LED bulb is turned on. The feedback message received by my smartphone, the bulb is turned on. Let us turn it off. I type the command, the word off, in all capital letters. And the bulb is turned off. Let us look at the message on the OLED display. I'm going to attach my camera and have a near look what is displayed. It is blurred. On the OLED display, it will show the smartphone number of who was the sender, and then the received command message, capital letters of, and then the feedback message to be sent, turn off. That is the displayed result on the OLED display. let me copy the command on my smartphone and then paste it, and let us send that command to turn on the LED bulb. And then I'm going to focus the OLED display, and I'm going to send now the command. So in the OLED display, it updated the result. The sender smartphone number was displayed, and then the message received by the ESP32, the word on in capital letters, and then the feedback message sent by the ESP32 turn on to my smartphone. I'm going to type the command off to turn it off. Now the OLED display updated its output. The message received is off, and then the 5-volt LED bulb is off.
That ends our topic for today. I hope you are inspired in my class. Thank you for watching. God bless us.